beginning from verse number 12. This is Jesus speaking. And if you have a red letter Bible, you will notice that these words I'm reading are quoted in red. I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth, for he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. He will glorify me, for he shall receive of mine, and shall show it unto you. All things that the Father hath are mine. Therefore say I, that he will take of mine and show it unto you. Jesus was attempting to expose us to a lecturer, a new regime in the economy of God. Once upon a time when we were in the university, one of our lecturers went on sabbatical leave for some time. So his room was vacant in the labors of lecturing. And there was this guy who had a doctor of science. That was his degree, DSc. He was a doctor of science. And he got that feather on his cap from Germany. This man that had a doctor of science did 5 master's degrees. He had a master's degree in mathematics. He has a master's degree in physics. He had a master's degree in electrical electronics engineering, a master's degree in botany, and a master's degree in quantum chemistry. Before, may the Lord give you understanding. Before he now took up the challenge of bearing the burden of his PhD thesis, and his PhD thesis incorporated all the areas of discipline that I just mentioned. It was a new line of study, dual fluorescence. You don't know what a lizard is. Do you know what a lizard is? I'm trying to help you understand dual fluorescence. You know what a lizard is? Okay. So you notice that when you cut the tail of a lizard, it will grow back. But if you cut your phalanges, it will not grow back. Why? Why is it that the lizard's tail grows back and your fingers, if they get cut, they don't grow back? Okay, so that's the meaning of his thesis. So this man was the only one that had the competence to fill the room that was made vacant when the other lecturer went on sabbatical leave. So he came into the class, and we had already read the notes of the previous set. It was a theoretical course that was not worthy of any attention. And this guy showed up and took over the course, and the first thing he did in the first class he attended was that he derived the Schrödinger equation. Those of you from the sciences, you understand what I'm talking about. He derived the Schrödinger equation and changed a theoretical course into a mathematics course. Made it like telepathy and metaphysical. That's how he made it. That was a course that we had already taken for granted that it was an A because it was theoretical. We were science people. And what changed was not the course. What changed was the lecturer. So you see, what is happening in the book of John chapter 16 is a change of lecturer. And you see, when a lecturer changes, when lecturers change, and the course does not change, you need to know the approach of the new lecturer in engaging the course if you have any intention to pass the course whatsoever. So Jesus is giving us some insight beforehand into the preferences of this new lecturer. This will be the new actor that will be on the stage of administering the purposes of God. It will be his responsibility to drive the economy of God. And so Jesus did not want us to be taken off guard. So he's giving us some insight into the approach of this new personality that was coming up on the stage, because he was going on sabbatical. Meanwhile, in our own experience in the university, when this new guy showed up, I hope you know the outcome. The outcome was that there were mass failures, and because of that man's effort, so many people did not graduate. He made the cost abstract. You need to be in a certain realm to be able to embrace what was going on. The cost did not change, but it was the lecturer that changed. So I'm showing you now that the cost outline has not changed, but Jesus is giving room for a new lecturer to step in. Let's find out a few things that Jesus said about this new individual that was coming to fill his room. The first thing you will notice in verse number 12 of John chapter 16 is that Jesus' approach of furnishing the mind of God was dependent on speaking, on saying. Because Jesus' approach of establishing the mind of God was dependent on speaking, Jesus had a limitation. And the limitation is expressed in verse number 12, just like you see. The limitation is that Jesus would not say something that his audience does not have the capacity to bear. I'm going to explain that. For instance, you hear him say that I have yet many things to say unto you, but you cannot bear them now. The problem here is not lack of utterance. The problem here is that the people that form the audience do not have the capacity to survive the things he has to say. Now, so many people in the congregation now will be thinking, what do you mean? Okay, I've survived stuff. Hey, just be calm. Now, once upon a time in Nigeria, there used to be a prophet, a genuine prophet. And he could pick things up in the spirit. He could diagnose people's conditions. He could provide solutions of wisdom. And because of that, he was most sought after. I don't know what challenges this prophet encountered. Because after a while, he set up a very elaborate protocol system that you have to survive before he grants you a one-on-one interview, one-on-one ministration. So it's a three-staged protocol. You get screened from the first stage, you are admitted into the second stage, then you get screened from the second stage. And then the third stage is that his personal assistant comes to check your face. And if your face doesn't look like someone that should be talking to his principal, then you are disqualified. You can start again if you wish to take another shot at the opportunity. So there was this woman that joined the queue, survived the first stage, survived the second stage, and when she got to the third stage, the personal assistant did not feel her type of person should be part of those troubling the prophet. So that was how her aspiration to meet with the man of God suffered a strange loss. Once upon a time, when this prophet was traveling, he had a flat tire. So the driver was compelled to stop the car. That was not planned. When the prophet came out of the car, because they had to jack it, he was standing exactly towards the shop. That woman, her shop was across the road there. So when he stepped out, and fortunately for the woman, the personal assistant that considered her face, the configuration of her face, not worthy of an audience, was not present that day. So the woman ran to the prophet and knelt down. And while she wanted to tell the prophet her challenge, the prophet said, hey, stop. He said, your mother is behind your condition. She doubted because it's her mom that used to take her from place to place to seek solutions to her challenges. Then in order for him to prove to her that he was not just speaking loose words, he went deeper and showed her what happened when she was 9 years old, showed her what happened when she was 15 years old, showed her what happened when she was 17 years old, and called her name that nobody knows. Before the prophet could tell him how to use the revelation he was downloading, the driver had swapped the tires. Are you still with me? So he went back into the car and continued his journey. And this woman was armed with revelation that she was not matured enough to handle. And those revelations became the reason for the civil war that is in that family till today. It will take Jesus' coming back from heaven to solve such problems. So Jesus knows the impact of being given revelation that you do not have capacity to bear. So instead of him trying to prove to you that he has revelations, he will keep it back because he knows what will happen when you have access to spiritual insight that you do not have the maturity to handle. Jesus said, I have so many things to tell you, but ye cannot bear them now. You cannot survive them. If I give you those things, you might begin a campaign that is not my intention for you. So I am not going to keep these revelations from you. I will keep it for you. How be it? Next verse. Are you there?